my 6 owner. You blew up my spot, motherfucker.
Whatever are you talking about, Pat?
Sunday Soap, welcome everyone.
Cheers.
Powered by Goose Island. Coming off a great win last night, 13-0 against the Twins. Dylan Cease shoved it right up my patoot again. I talked shit about it on Twitter. And he's one batter away from a no-hitter last night. He was a one-hit shutout.
You know what? I think it sealed the deal.
Yeah.
That we just hate Carlos Correa in this town.
There's no question.
Just fuck Carlos Correa all the way to the moon.
That's absolutely right. The humble brag, MSS.
What was it? I thought we changed it.
We did.
Jesus Christ.
All right, I'll give it then. The humble brag is we've added to the 108 weight loss this year. We're not going to reveal who that is. We'll reveal that when 108 weight loss starts happening.
I'm not even high.
What the hell are you doing?
My brain is foggy though from yesterday. I got high before the game yesterday. Took a 10 meg and then took a nap and then went to the game and I was pretty ripped up for about half the game. So
good tailgate before the game. I'm invited to the Barstool Miller Lite tailgate. Yeah. Very fun. Had a good time.
I want to steal that Miller Lite RV thing.
The double decker?
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
We should have stolen
awesome.
That would have been it.
They actually let us on there and gave us the tour. Let us go up on top and everything.
They didn't show us where they had the keys though.
No,
so they knew.
Never fucking do that. Sunday Soap is an all question show. We're going to get to it right now. And the first question is from a longtime guy, Matt. And Matt asks, did the Sox find a guy in Davis Martin? What's his possible career arc look like here? Are we looking at quad A or depth, long reliever, emergency starter? Can he actually be a fifth starter on a good team? Treason.
So I think this is telling of the organization that, like, we don't even know how to handle a guy that, like, kind of just developed out of nowhere and is a viable starting pitcher.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even have brain space to go, like, where does this guy fit in? And, I think, he mentions quad A.
Yeah.
And, like, I think he's already there.
Yeah, I
right?
do too. Yep.
Like, so I think we know that's the floor. He's a quad A guy floor. His ceiling, I would say, is a fourth or fifth starter and, like, actually making the rotation. I'd like to see him stay a starter. He seems to be able to handle the long game, which makes me not want to try and convert him like we ended up having to do with Raylo and Lambo. Like, I'd rather say, let this guy be a starter. And if he's not going to be a starter in the starting five, then put him at AAA. We're always going to need more starting pitching, and we rarely have the option of having that guy have options and be able to go between the majors and the minors. So I think it's a great find. I want more guys to go to the lab and find fastballs like he did.
Exactly right.
So I think quad A is his floor.
MSS, what do you think?
I think you should look at him as a potential fifth starter, but that should not deter the organization from finding another solid starting pitcher. Do not look at him and say, well, he's probably just going to get it together and we'll just have him as, let's not do that.
No backup play.
No, let's not just roll the dice on him. Maybe spend a couple million and get a guy that could potentially be okay. Now, you mentioned Raylo and Lambert, and I think that's a perfect thing. You could double team these guys on a game. He does the first 5, Raylo comes in and does 3, and then whatever, then you're done. Like, you could do that kind of shit with those guys and, like, having Lambert come in. So it's perfect, but I just hesitate to be like, yes, he's a solid 4 or 5, because then I know what the Sox are going to say. We don't need another starting pitcher. We got this guy. And I don't know if he's good, but
yeah, I agree. I agree. I think the plan should be he's your 6th starter going into next year because, as Treasy mentioned, he's got options. And we so rarely have a situation where we have a decent, viable minor league starting pitcher who can come up and spot whenever we need them to, right? And that's going to be important. Most teams are going through 8, 9, 10 starters during the year. And the Dodgers at all times have 8 good starters. They just got them hitting on the IL, in the minors as depth like this. So we need more of these guys. So, yeah, but I agree. I think his upside is like 4th, 5th starter, like Treasy's saying. I think he could be a viable option on the team. But let's, as MSS said, let's not make him the only option. Let's give ourselves more opportunities here so we don't have to take so much risk on that. The next question is from Somebody Told Me When. And Somebody Told Me When says, do you think using an opener is a viable strategy for the White Sox going forward? Treasy.
I don't think they need to that often. Yeah. I think, if you do have a spot start of a guy like Davis Martin, I like that idea of having an opener. I don't like it being Joe Kelly. Like the whole idea of an opener is like you're going to face the toughest 3 guys on the other team to start the game.
Right.
You want someone who's going to come in and be able to shut them down. So like what you were just talking about with like Raylo and Jimmy Lambert, like splitting up games with guys, like those would be the guys that I would look to be your opener because they are high leverage pitchers at this point for the Sox.
Yeah.
It would be great to have, if Aaron Bummer's back and he's pitching well, that's a good opener too because you could go with him coming from the left side and then go to a right-handed pitcher right away after an inning or inning and a half. And that's going to mess with the lineup construction of the other team. So there's reasons to do it, but if you have everybody healthy, you don't need to. Like you have your starting 5, and our starting 5 is made to pitch long into the game, so they shouldn't have to do it.
Agreed. It worked so well on Friday. I mean, why wouldn't it?
Still had the victory though.
Did, but not because of the opener. Or we tired them out in that first inning, and then they couldn't score anymore.
They got too many base runners.
Yeah, they're like, oh god, we're so beat from that first inning.
Yeah, the opener is a very viable strategy, and as Treasy mentioned, I would have gone with those other guys as opener spots. But you're right, you only really use it when you have a subpar starting pitcher, and it doesn't have zero transaction costs because you're changing roles there. You're putting a reliever in right to start the game, so they may not be used to that. That's not the thing they normally do. And then you have a starter warming up, but they're not going to start until later in the game. So it's not the normal cadence that they were going to. So to overcome those transaction costs there, you need to get the clean first inning, like Treasy's mentioned, or the clean first 2 innings. What Joe Kelly did was bad. Now, the idea is for that subpar starter to miss the front of the lineup one time. So this way they can go into the game deeper without having to face the good hitters kind of up at the top. That was executed, basically, on Friday night with Davis Martin. So that probably helped a little bit. But you have all these other transaction costs, and with the runs, just no Joe Kelly. Just skip Joe Kelly.
That's fine.
All right. Next question is from White Sox Sal.
Hey, happy Sunday, fuckface.
Oh wow! White Sox Sal says MSS packed up and took a chance out west. Where would you guys have gone at the same age? And was the West Coast MSS's first choice? So we'll go last question first.
Okay.
Was the West Coast your first choice?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Arizona. I wanted to go to California first, but I couldn't find people to go to California with me. So Arizona was the first stop, and that was where my 2 roommates that we moved out there with stayed forever. And then I got into bad jobs and everything. I was like, I will go to California for a year and stayed for 7. It was great. Yeah, that was definitely my first choice. I would have gone to, if I could have, I would have went to Seattle. To go to college. I would really wanted to do that. But then after visiting Seattle, I loved it. But I was like, there's no way in hell I would have survived Seattle with going to college. So, yeah, I've always wanted to live on the West Coast.
All right. Treasy, how about you? What would you where would you have packed up and taken the chance to?
Well, when I was coming out of college, I was going into the music business. So I was either going to stay here and work in an indie label, or the 2 options, really, the only other 2 options were LA and New York to go work for a major label. At that time, I was much more in favor of going to live in LA. However, as an adult, after experiencing all these different cities, God, I would never live in LA. Like in New York would definitely be on top of my list of I would move there, right? But like no LA. I didn't like it, and so it's a good thing I didn't. But yeah, those are the 2 spots.
For me, I don't think I would have done any of that stuff. I personally, not someone who would be into just like picking up, moving, and going some random place. And it's not that I had a good skill set for work, so I could have found work kind of in any of those spots and would have been comfortable from that standpoint. I need my support system. All the knuckleheads that you see us talking about, Dr. Feelgood and Polish with Extra Onions and Slim Mick and Treasy and all these guys, I need those people in my life. So going somewhere else would have removed me from that group, and it would have been much harder on a younger version of me. I needed that support system. No way I could have done it.
Pussy.
Next question's from Matt Ramsey. And Matt Ramsey says, worst tattoo, tribal or barbed wire? And he says, hey, MSS.
Man, you know what? He might take over the fuck yous every Sunday. Really.
Real Jag. Huh?
Sorry that I got a tattoo that was popular when I got it. Obviously, barbed wire is much worse. I mean, it turns you into a conservative later in life, so do not, barbed wire is definitely worse than a tribal.
I'm with you on that because I feel like, I'm not a fan of the tribal tattoo. I'm not dissing yours. It looks great on you.
I love that for you.
I love that for you. but I think it's the barbed wire because like tribal was just really popular. Like a lot of people got the tribal because it's like, oh, this looks cool. I like this. The barbed wire always had the undertone of like, I'm a fucking badass. Look at these biceps covered in barbed wire, buddy. Like, so
what's a real fucking barbed wire around your bicep, asshole?
Barbed wire is the much. So yeah, barbed wire for me. Barbed wire sucks.
I don't know. I'm not a tattoo guy. I've never gotten a tattoo, and I just don't care for them in general. So I got no opinion.
I'm gonna get you real drunk one night. Get you no regrets.
With some flames.
Next question is from Sean Jankowski. And Sean asks, why does MSS hate Oktoberfest beers? MSS.
God. I mean,
tell the people again.
They just taste like shit. And like, there's something about that Marzen style that's just horrible. And people will tell me like, oh no, you just haven't had the right one. No. I've had a ton of them, and they were all fucking equally awful. So it's just something that just doesn't taste very good to me. Now, I'll say this: I like Vienna style lagers, which apparently was like the first type of Oktoberfest beers I had, and I like.
Oh, they should do that.
I like the Vienna style lagers. I do not like the Marzen Oktoberfest. They just fucking suck balls. They taste like balls. They're not good. But everyone always keeps going, hey, you should try this, you should try this one, you should try this one, you should try it. Fuck you, I'm not trying it.
The more I drink them, the more I lean towards his view.
Totally agree. Yeah,
they're so subpar compared to all the other beers.
Right.
Like that's the thing. It's like it's like a bullshit. It's like a made up holiday. I know. Like people take the Oktoberfest seriously, so I don't want to like shit on the holiday. But it's, to me, the beer part of it is like it reminds me of like Valentine's Day cards. Like they're just like we got to push more cards in February.
Yeah.
That Christmas rush was awesome. And then they're like, oh, our summer beers are all ending. Fuck, let's whatever this is, throw it out here. Call it Oktoberfest.
Man, I love grapefruit this time of year. Fucking sucks.
I'm gonna do a 180 on the next question.
I was gonna say next question is from Tadahito 5150, and Tadahito says, pumpkin beer, drink it or launch it into the sun. Treezy, you go first.
So pumpkin beer, I'll usually have one.
Pumpkin beer.
Right. I can't sit there.
Take it easy.
I can't sit there and have like 6 pumpkin beers. Like but like if you're at a bar and they're like they got like a special on pumpkin beer because it's October.
Yeah.
I'll have one.
You'll get it there. Okay.
Oh god.
MSS, what do you think?
The fucking worst, dude. and it like usually, and the last time I had a pumpkin beer, I was working still downtown, and we had pumpkin from Southern Tier, which is like a shit. Like I mean, it's good if you like pumpkin beer, but it just is so like it literally tastes like you're drinking like a pack of cloves. I mean, it tastes like just. Ugh. So I'm not a big fan. I don't like spicy or like spiced beer. You know, I barely like spiced anything.
Have you been to the Southern Tier?
No.
So not even the brewery, just where it's at. So if you don't know,
I've been there.
The Southern Tier is in New York. It's not like it's not in the South.
No.
But my buddy in Barren Plains, he's from Buffalo, and he best described it as somehow they took part of Alabama and put it into New York.
Yeah, the Southern Tier Brewery was closed Monday when we were driving back from Frank Thomas's induction in the Hall of Fame. Okay. So we were going to stop, but we couldn't because they were closed. So. They have a creme brulee beer, which is really good too. But like once again, you only want creme brulee. Not like
you can't tell much wrong. Yeah, I mean, by the time pumpkin beer comes around, I'm drinking a lot of wine. I don't give a shit about beer anymore, so I'm out on that stuff.
In the sun, bitches.
That's right. Launch it into the sun. Chris Pix is up next. Chris Pix says, how many more years do you think Jose Abreu will be with the White Sox? My Sox summer, you start.
I mean, I want him to be here till he is retired. Do I think that he'll be here till he's retired? No. I think he is going to this is probably potentially be his last season as a White Sox. Because I just don't know going forward. I don't trust the organization to make the right decision.
Teresa?
10 more years. We have no idea how old Jose Abreu is. He might be younger than we think.
That's true. That's true. He has his passport. We don't know what his age is.
He might be 26 years old. We have no idea.
I'm with MSS. I want to watch Jose Abreu be here until he's Paul Konerko at the end of his career bad. That's how I want to see him be like finished, but still be out there because I would still love to see him because all the great memories. But I kind of agree. I think they're probably going to let him walk after this year. And I think one of the reasons why we're seeing, and we saw it last night, Eloy Jimenez is becoming a monster, and they need to keep DH open for Eloy. Combination of Eloy and Andrew Vaughn, and I think it makes it tougher when you got Jose in the calculus. One of these guys has to be in the outfield, then, and it kind of hurts the overall, composition of the team. However, I love Jose Abreu, and I do not think a good strategy is getting rid of one of your best hitters to get better. So it would really take the front office some forward thinking to replace that production properly.
I want to see him sign 2 outfielders before they let
Before they make that decision. Yeah. 2 competent outfielders, exactly right. Next question is from Chicago Sports Bombs. This is a pretty interesting question. I think this was brought up at the ballpark the other night. What was the show that brought down the downfall of MTV? I Summer, you start.
I said it in the moment, and I'm still gonna go with it. Fucking Carson Daly, TLR. TRL.
TLR. He did a totally Russo.
No, but yeah,
his best work.
Bringing going from what was like grunge and like popular music into boy band stuff and screaming children, like women, and maybe some dudes, totally ruined that whole vibe at MTV. And then they also stopped playing videos then at that point. It was like more of a this bunch of bullshit shows after that, reality stuff and whatever. I don't know, although I love the Real World.
See, that's the answer, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go ahead, Treasy. Go ahead. Say it.
The Real World is the answer because that's when they realized
they can make
we don't need to play music videos anymore to make money. We can do this.
Yeah.
And then they still do that, and now I don't watch it.
Yeah, especially because the first couple were wildly popular.
Yeah.
Everyone watched that shit. And I think you're right. I think the success of that killed what the channel was. And I think it was Josh Nelson brought up at the ballpark. Plus MTV2 started showing all the videos. So they stripped away the video part completely from original MTV. So the combination of hey, we're in the reality TV business now, and then flushing the videos down. I agree with you on MSS. They push more towards, we're just going to have pop. We're going to have top 40 pop instead of spraying to all fields. They used to have shows for everything. Every different kind of video you wanted to watch. They had a show component in there with videos for it. And then they went away from all
120 minutes.
Do you think if Mad Real World would have got a second season, do you think it would have brought MTV back? That's the question.
I hope so. I think it would have. I hope so. I want to believe that. All right, next question is from CMCD, and CMCD says, will the team keep playing better without Tony La Russa? Summer, I think you should go first on this one.
I mean, this is such a loaded question. Like, you could be like, Miguel Cairo had Chinese food last night, so he might have a really good pitching moment if Miguel Cairo eats Chinese food every time he goes into the fucking game, right? Or like go manage a game. It doesn't. I don't think the two are correlated. I really don't believe that Tony La Russa's departure has made this team better. I don't think he was hurting the team, and I don't think Miguel Cairo is making decisions to help the team. I'm just hold on.
Here we go.
I do think is happening though, and what I think is very much happening, is that losing Tony La Russa has shaken up the dugout in the clubhouse and has got people excited. Then people start winning again. So then you get that fire in your belly, and you're like, okay, here we go. So I don't know,
but that's them winning without him. Like that's the whole thing.
But that's not because of him.
Yes, it is.
Hang on. But the question says, will they keep playing without Tony? So it doesn't suggest causality. Although you can imply causality from the question. Yeah.
What I'm thinking here is,
I love coincidence. This. It was good. I was like, oh shit! I feel like I'm at home.
When we first talked about firing Tony La Russa before the All-Star break, what did we all agree on in the podcast? It wasn't that Tony La Russa is the sole reason that this team's failing, but it's the biggest lever that you could pull to change something.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And that's why we're out on Menachino because firing the hitting coach doesn't do shit.
Right.
You fire Chili Davis and no one knows the next day that happened.
Exactly.
This was the biggest lever.
Yep.
This lever was pulled. It wasn't pulled as we expected it to be, where he is getting fired. Instead, he got sick, and we're all
might be pulling the
we're all hoping that he's fine. It's we're not happy of the way it happened.
No.
However, it happened, and now there's this big switch. And to me, I need to see them go kick ass in Seattle for me to go, this is a different team.
Yeah, and then that's not. I think it's going to be crazy if they do that, right? I mean,
right, if they go sweep the Mariners,
they go beat a team that's hot as hell.
Yeah,
right? I mean, like that's what I need to see. And if I see that, then I'll really be on the side of like, this is what they needed to change.
It hasn't, before you give your incredibly great answer, it happened to me, like, seen this before, too. Like, about every 2 weeks, they have, like, they put together a string of games where you're like, holy shit, like, this team might be back. We might be, they fucking suck you back in. So now it's going to see what's going to happen after you've pulled out. Now we're pulling out. What are you going to do next? Are you going to run and get the towel? Are you going to take her out the bed? What are you going to do? What's going to happen here? And we'll see what happens.
That's tough to follow. I think you always get a bump in every job when a new manager comes on because they're trying to show you their best face immediately. And I mentioned that on Friday night. I love Miguel Cairo's energy. They was running out of the field, got kicked out of the fucking game. He wanted to kill Rocco Baldelli. All that shit is great, right? And so maybe in the short term, yes. Okay, yes. But we shouldn't be sold on the fact that just any other guy over a longer period is going to be as meaningful. I don't know. And truthfully, I don't give a fuck. I just hope they play good for this month. And if Miguel Cairo is bringing new energy and something different and it works, fucking great. That's what I want, So I do expect them to keep playing better, only because of that consequence. The new guy in there is trying his hardest because he's just getting his first opportunity. And so I expect the guys to, take that in, ingest that, play well. Will that affect? Let's say Miguel Cairo's the manager next year. In the middle of next year, should we expect the same shit? Probably not. I wouldn't assume that would last. But for now, yes.
I would expect we got to fire Miguel Cairo middle of next year.
Just fire a guy during the middle of the year and you get brand new energy every year.
And he's not Jerry's best friend, so he has the possibility of actually losing his job. So that'll be good.
He could actually get fired, exactly. The next question follows this up nicely. Sir Stony Island says, was Miguel Cairo initially hired as bench coach with the intention of him succeeding TLR after his contract was up? Treasy, what do you think?
I think he was. And I remember when it happened. There was some interesting talk about Miguel Cairo because he had, if I remember correctly, and there's been a lot of beers in between there.
Yeah, yes, there has.
He had been coaching in the league, but he wouldn't leave his hometown. He wouldn't go in where he was living at the time.
Yeah,
he'd stay his home.
Yeah,
he was in his Venezuela.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
But he wanted to stay until his kids graduate high school, and then they did. And this is like basically the first job that he's taking, where he's going to travel with the team and do all this. And you kind of had to think like he's a hot name.
Yep.
Everyone has said all these good things about him, and wherever he's going to go, you got to think that the team is prepping him. Right. And when you put him behind a guy who's in his 70s, who's not, is not going to coach a long time.
Doesn't have a long-term track.
It makes sense that he would go and take that job with some idea of, hey, I might be next up here. I got to learn on the job for the couple of years and then take over.
Yeah.
And he's doing it right now. So he's got an audition. He's
his audition.
You can possibly have.
Yeah, you're in a pennant race, everything.
You're going to learn a lot in that Seattle series. You're going to learn how good of a bench coach he is going into this one. How he reacts, because he's going to get punched in the mouth, right?
Yep.
And that's
going to be a tough team.
That's the Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So he's going to get punched in the mouth on the West Coast, and we're going to see what happens. How he responds to it is going to be the make and break of him probably going forward in the season and in his long-term job aspirations here. Like, just to see what happens, You go in there, take one, take two, then maybe you got something going.
No, yeah, I agree with these guys. I think that was the approach, and I like the approach, actually. I liked them when they brought in Ricky Renteria behind Rob Ventura. Just get a guy who's smart, who probably could end up being a manager as your bench coach. That's a good approach all the time. So kudos to them. And you're right, Treasy. The name was a little hot, kind of like how Chris Getz's name was hot when he came in as going to be the head of developing the org. We haven't seen the returns yet, but I think we're starting to with the farm system. We're starting to see a little bubbling up of some names and some hotness starting to come through there. So maybe they're on the right track with some of these hires, getting some of these hot names in from other places and injecting some institutional knowledge from other spots. So I think yes, and I like it. I hope that if it ends up Miguel Cairo is the manager next season for whatever reason, I hope they choose the next bench coach to be someone similar. Get someone who's smart, who they think is going to be a manager soon, and always be filling that pipeline. I love that idea.
Rick Renteria coming back next year. Confirmed.
Let's get Ricky in the tub right now. I'd love to have a little tub talk. All right, next question is from Josh Nelson. Josh says, why does Beefloaf call himself an optimistic or positive fan about the White Sox? He continues to make bets on their players playing poorly. All right. There's a you know what they call this, Treasy? You know what they call this? The smart money. They call this the smart money, right? You don't bet with your heart. You bet with what you think is probably going to happen. And although I want the White Sox to win and think they're an overall good team, there's bad players or players that you overvalue on this roster over here. And I'm going to make a few bucks, steak dinners, whatever the fuck, out of it if I can. You know, that's all it is.
That's a smart move.
Let me say this. If anyone is questioning the amount of homer that Beefloaf has, I'm going to tell you a story. We're going to go way back.
Go for it, baby.
Back in the day when we were gambling professional, we were in a group, like kind of a group chat, and it's like an IRC channel with these dudes. And there was a Monday night game where the Bears were playing. Now, me and Beef did not have a position on this game.
We did.
But a bunch of the guys were tied into a bunch of teasers that went all through the weekend.
Vikings
And
Bears.
culminated on this game.
Culminated on this game. All the a teaser is like a parlay with points, so everything's tied to this. So they need the big payout. They need this.
There's a lot of money for all the guys in this channel riding on this game, and they're all on the Vikings.
Yeah.
And Beefloaf is in this channel cheering the Bears the whole fucking game. Because
we call that an anti-sweat to those in the business. Well, I'm sweating against your fucking position because I love the Bears. And the Bears had a terrible team.
They did.
They weren't going
They did.
anywhere.
And it made sense. This was a lock of a bet. And it was Cutler, right?
It was Cutler to
Cutler.
Devin Aroma-Shadu
Yes.
for the touchdown. For the Linden
And like these people all lost a lot of money. And Beef was just cheering the Bears because he's a fucking homer.
Did you bet the Bears or did you bet the Vikings?
We had no money.
We had no positions on
Oh,
either.
okay.
Either way. No.
You guys use industry jargon on me. No position. I don't know what the fuck that means.
I know that.
No,
we didn't have any money.
Now I get it.
No money's down on that shit. No, that's true. That's absolutely true.
Funny.
And hey, I doubled down on my division bet with the White Sox. And here we are. We're coming right back. So, Josh, when I take advantage of you on some of these players, don't take it personally. All right, next question is from Sammy Davis Jr. 5K. And Sammy Davis Jr. asks, better stuff, Nick Gordon or White Sox Dave? Now, myself, you go first.
I mean, Dave did not give up 13 runs. So I'm gonna go with White Sox Dave. He did a good job throwing the ball way high. Thank God it was Lucas Giolito because nobody else could have got to that.
He was closer to the plate than Gordon.
He was. And he only had one pitch. He probably could have warmed up. He had a couple more pitches.
Yeah.
Nick Gordon got to throw
I'll
a
give
bunch
it to
of
Dave.
pitches.
I'm
I'm going to also give it to Dave. That's a clean sweep right there. Next question from Shane Harmon. And Harmon asks, which 108er gets this job and what is their first big move? And it's a link to manager of marketing and fan engagement for the White Sox.
Oh, that's MSS.
It's definitely MSS. MSS, what's your first big move as manager of marketing and fan engagement for the White Sox?
I would love to say, oh, we'll make the 108 bobblehead. That will be the first thing that we do, right? But I can't say that. There's one thing that everyone is so irked about. It's the worst thing ever. You bring it up on Twitter, people go fucking nuts. Guess what? No fucking restrictions anywhere in the park.
Yes.
So wherever you want. You want to go 300 level? Go 300 level. All right? You want to try to sneak in there, try to sneak somebody's seat and get kicked out and you get people yell at you? Feel free. Want to do that downstairs? Oh, you just want to go look at the statues. I get you. You're going to go right back up to 500 level and hang out. Oh, I know you're going to do that. So, yeah, please come through. You can go look at the statues and then go right back up to your cheap seat upstairs. I'm getting rid of the restrictions because that would endear me to the fans for forever.
Yep.
So and then that would make me really good at my position.
MSS, a couple points to that. If you're gonna do that, which I'm in favor of, I think most 108, 100 level season ticket holders are in favor of letting everyone go to every fucking spot in the stadium. But two things I think you need to do if you're gonna do that. Number one, you need to add more bathrooms. Okay, you got to get more bathrooms on the first level. Carve out a couple 5 more. Number two. We need more. We need more. Yes.
Did you do a lot of cocaine last night?
No comment.
There's still a little bit in the mustache.
All right.
You can tell.
I'm going to do that later.
Number two, we need more areas for people to stand where they can clearly see the game on the concourse.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got to build up some platforms or what the fuck you got to do, but put some more areas where people can just hang out, man. So that's what we got to have.
Okay.
Not everyone can sit next to us in the 108, even though they try.
Sure.
All right, next question.
Double decker seats coming in the.
Let's put a canopy
like
over
remember
us.
those the plain ones where you're in somebody's asshole.
Yes.
We're gonna make those seats. So like the back 3 rows of the 108 will be asshole seats.
Sounds
You
great.
can eat ass and watch the Sox.
All right, next question's from Yumper. And Yumper says, "What's your favorite Stone Temple Pilots song?" I myself
Oh,
go first.
Why
do you hate him so fucking much? What's your problem?
You know what? That I don't know. I don't really know why. But what I know it doesn't help is that they play them all the time on any '90s alternative station.
Yeah.
You're gonna hear the Stone Temple Pilots 9 out of 10 times, and it's just
Total
horrible.
bullshit.
Sex type thing is probably my favorite.
You know what's funny is you would think it would be off like probably the first album, right? It was like the heaviest album. But
No, it's not.
"Trippin' on a Hole" is actually my favorite Stone
Great
Temple
song.
Pilots song,
Don't
and I
know
think
what
it was really to me where they kind of separated themselves from the '90s grunge stuff, where
For
they
sure.
were just like, yeah, we're more of an LA rock band than we are.
They always were, but you're right. The sound was blending in with the rest of the
It kind of got caught up in all that because
Yeah.
like, they're playing concerts with these people. They're doing
Yeah.
all this. They were in the grunge scene
Yeah.
ancillary, so if that's a word.
Yes.
But that album,
hilarious. I think it's hilarious.
and
Hello.
and Songs for the Vatican Gift Shop, I think, kind of broke them away from that. And like
Don't even know that
that's
album.
when you could really start to really start to appreciate Scott Weiland as the frontman he was, because he was able to be a little more glam than he than the on whatever core the first album, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Like he's very like got to be like sullen and grungy, and when he became the guy that is dancing around in a suit on stage,
Yes.
that's when Stone Temple Pilots really like hit for me.
I mean, that's one thing about Stone Temple Pilots. I know MSS doesn't like them, but they're one of the last bands that had a real frontman.
Yeah.
Like the frontman has gone away, kind of. It doesn't exist so much like it used to. I'm talking about rock band frontman.
Yeah.
Like the guy from Muse is probably the like
there's not a lot of it anymore. You know, like and I don't think grunge necessarily killed that, but maybe it did a little bit. But like
Grunge did kill that. Grunge killed a lot of that stuff because you saw guys
trying to be
instead of
understated, right?
right, and then you had bands, Warped Tour, and then everything where like they're wearing jeans and a t-shirt and playing music. It stripped away all the stuff that was rock star.
Yeah.
It became everyone can do this, right? Like you have a guitar and a grunge or and a distortion pedal, you could probably have a band, and that's what happened. I mean,
We're bringing it back though. 108, 3 frontmen. We got 3 frontmen in this fucking place.
All glamorous.
We're all
We're
rock
all
stars.
glamorous. There's no
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
My song will be Big Empty, and I know it was a big radio hit. But any song that can go from being the rock song with the electric guitars and everything, and then when they strip it down and you hear it in the unplugged setting, and it's just as good, maybe even better. Those are the best songs for me always. If you can kind of, that the song grew up, and when it started in its infancy was on some acoustic guitar somewhere, and some guy is strumming and just singing through some shit, and then evolves into the rock song. I like to hear it when it's stripped down, and if it's still great, then those are my songs.
They might have my favorite unplugged too. That
Terrific
unplugged is incredible.
Awesome Chicken is pretty
My
cool.
eyes
it is
just roll
good
back
too.
in the back of my head. You can't see it because I have glasses on, but like my eyes roll back in my head when you said they were the best unplugged.
Who you got? Best unplugged.
Oh, Alice in Chains is definitely
Alice in
right
Chains is
there.
really good.
And Pearl Jam was really good too.
No.
Love Pearl Jam.
It's fun.
I felt Pearl Jam.
I hate it. All
So
right,
you guys don't like Pearl Jam, but you like something.
I
I
like
like Pearl Jam. I like Pearl Jam. I didn't think
I
their
just don't think
unplugged
they-
was
I
outstanding.
just don't think they've written a good song in 30 years.
And that's fine.
Might
That's
not
fine.
be wrong.
That's
Might not
fine.
be wrong.
I'll listen to 10 all day.
They had 3-4 records and they were good. Well, who cares? But whatever. That's a lot more than everybody
They
else.
have like 16 records now.
Then, well,
Yeah,
that's,
I know.
I got lost after No Code. So.
I don't even like No Code. I mean, Vitalogy was the last one I liked.
I like No Code's got some blues songs
agree
on
on
there,
something.
whatever.
Yeah, those first 3 records are really good.
All right, next question is from Alexander M. And Alexander M says, if you 3 were to play a full 162-game season, who'd have the highest batting average and why is it Beeflo? I actually don't. I don't think it would be. I think it'd be Treasy because he'll have the highest contact rate.
Right.
You got. If we were rating hit tools, you would have the highest hit tool because you make contact a lot and you run pretty well.
You'd have the most fun.
I would have the most barrels. Yeah.
Beef. Back in the day,
MSS got
I
power
don't
too,
know.
though.
I don't know.
He might have a little more swing and miss than me. That might be it. But I got a lot of swing and miss too.
you were a big strikeout guy.
I was a big strikeout guy back then.
You-
But
you-
huge power.
You were the Adam Dunn before Adam Dunn.
That's true. I walked a lot and I struck out a lot and I hit for power.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then you financed some great movies.
How many when we went to batting practice, were you hitting the ball all over the park? Were
Yeah.
you doing really good? Yeah.
He hits
all
the right
line
field a
drive.
lot.
All
He hits-
line
I
yeah.
kind of remember that.
Yeah,
I
he
do remember
he
that.
hits a lot of balls in the right field. And he always did. When we were younger, Treasy had enough power at the age or whatever. As we got bigger, and then you have all these scary monsters, Treasy just had the nice right field stroke. He just hit your line drives to right center all the time.
I have good hand-eye coordination.
Yeah,
I have
sure.
little lady arms though, which is that's a problem.
That's a technical term.
That's
Little lady arms.
yeah, it's a medical term.
I mean, I don't have the makings of a varsity athlete, so I'm definitely going to be the lowest on the.
But you're big and strong, so you get a hold of one. Yeah,
I would like to go back now that I've lost 40 pounds. I would like to go back and do batting practice again.
I would
and
too.
I can see if I can get my arms all the way through everything. Maybe I'm going to have to tell Brooks we need to show up for that.
Brooks, just set up a batting practice just for the three of us.
Brooks,
and
we're here for batting practice.
And our wives, if they want to take a couple.
Yes.
Next question is from White Sox Truth. Hey, Truth, how you doing? That's Sam Reed. He says, if Treasy could choose a band to listen to the first time again, who would that be?
Oh, this is easy.
Oh, nice.
Very easy. And you would think I would say Soundgarden.
Yeah.
It's not. It's Black Sabbath. Listening to, hearing Black Sabbath, and you know who introduced me to him is the Maestro.
The Maestro, baby. The Maestro taught us how to play.
He was telling us about power chords.
Yeah.
And he's like, you got to check out some Black Sabbath, dude. This is the penultimate power chord guy. Tony Iommi. So I was like, all right, I'll check it out. And I remember, I think the first album I listened to, whichever one has War Pigs, it's just Paranoid.
Paranoid's
I listened to Paranoid, and like, it blew my mind. Like it was like I've talked about this before. When I was coming up, I was mostly listening to rap. Like it was kind of all I listened to until I was like 13, 14. I started getting into some different stuff, and I was probably 15 years old. I just started playing bass, and I listened to Paranoid, and like it was kind of one of those moments where I was like, all the stuff I want is in one song. Holy shit! And like I was blown away by the rhythm section.
And it was produced in 1968. Like
yeah. and Paranoid was written in the studio just because they needed another song. You know, like, but it's so incredible of an album.
That's what I think about when I hear a Black Sabbath. Even when we were younger guys and hearing a Black Sabbath record, it's like, this shit. Imagine how fucking heavy this was in 1968 or 69 when none of this shit existed. Like now we're of an age where there's a lot of bands doing power chords and heavy stuff, or whatever. This shit had to be incredibly, like, soul-crushingly heavy back then. Like, who the fuck is listening to this shit?
It had to be kind of scary.
It'd be kind of scary, right? You know? All right, next question is from Brewhead Luke. Brewhead Luke gives us a Marry, Fuck, Kill. And he says, Marry, Fuck, Kill, More Than Dogs. Those are your boys, MSS. Maxwell Street Depot, or Wings and Rings. So let's start with you, MSS. Marry, Fuck, Kill, More Than Dogs, Maxwell Street, and Wings and Rings.
The place I eat the least amount, Maxwell Street, you're killed. All
right.
Okay. Probably gonna fuck More Than Dogs because only see them like part time.
Yeah.
And then gonna marry Wings and Rings because I eat there more than they.
Okay.
I mean, we actually did marry Wings and Rings. So like, I don't know if you noticed.
We've done a lot of work with them.
I mean, notice we have rings on. It's wings and wedding rings.
That's right.
I'm gonna fuck Maxwell Street because it's gonna bring me back to my youth of fucking something and really regretting it the next day. And I'm gonna kill More Than Dogs just to fuck with you and Mr. Hand on Sundays.
That's bullshit.
I mean, More Than Dogs seems cool. I don't ever eat from there because usually you guys eat when you're going to the game. I'm trying to get drunk when I go to the game. I can't let food interfere with my buzz, man. It fucks me up. So I'm gonna go the same as Trees though. I will fuck Maxwell Street because a lot of late night quickies happen at Maxwell Street. Sometimes I'll walk home from the game, especially if you're not with me, Treesy. If I'm a little intoxicated, I'll just like, especially on a weeknight, I'll just walk up to Maxwell Street, get one cheeseburger and fries and a fucking RC. Baby, I'm set for that.
Are you serious? Like
this
year,
this year I've done it twice.
Oh my god.
So last weekend series season, I know Josh Nelson's never been there.
We gotta get him over.
We gotta get him over there.
We gotta get him over there. No, we definitely gotta go and eat at the counter as a group and just hang out. Yeah,
don't eat the bone.
That's what makes it extra tender. All right, next question is from Sox Supporter. And Sox Supporter says, as famous as you guys are on Sox Twitter, do you toil away in anonymity at work or other non-White Sox functions? Or do you give the evil Knievel to their ass and ask them, do you know who the hell I am? Treasy, I'll let you go first about work situation, whatever, about the 108.
Well, almost no one at work knows that I do this. There's a few people that follow along and they'll ask me about it, or they've come to games and so they're aware, you know. But it's rarely ever talked about. Plus, now that everything's worked from home for the most part, like I rarely see a lot of these other people. Yeah. They're like just bullshit with them. So maybe they do all know and they talk about it behind my back. I don't know. I can't see it.
And our family does know. Like our parents listen to the podcast regularly. our uncle listens to the podcast. Like they're aware of us, at least in the family setting, for sure. MSS?
No, my family really doesn't. The people I work for, my kids, they have no idea what I do. No, they know that, but for the most part, like, no, not a lot of a lot of my good close friends know. And if I promoted a lot of it on Facebook, so that's where I communicate with most extended family. So they've seen it, but like as far as going out into the world, I'm just starting to give out cards to people that my kids go to school with. I'm like, oh yeah, by the way, because I would get every random pickup days. They'd be like, you 108, or whatever, and they had no idea. And I was like, well, there's a reason why I really haven't talked about it, because when you have a segment on a show, it's what's the ugliest porn star you've ever masturbated to. It's not really something that you want your
need to bring that
your
back.
Kids' friends, parents to be listening to.
It might have changed by now.
I have to let them know, hey, listen, this is an adult show, and there's some stuff that might make you feel uncomfortable when you watch it. So just be ready for that. But but a lot of people are starting to know now more. So I'm trying to more embrace it and just kind of bring it to light. I don't know if the porn star, how it would bet a porn star segment from the last podcast would go over so well with a lot of parents. But hey,
most probably interested in the answers.
We'll see what happens.
I mean, who was the guest on that? Was that Anime Guy Steve? Did that show with us?
Yeah.
Bless you, Steve, for being on that show. At work, they all know. And my boss is actually supportive of it. So my boss has been a great mentor to me, professionally, personally, everything. Just someone I've worked for a long time. He's extremely supportive. They love it. I had one seminal moment. So we would do these kind of group outings, and I work in a company, but part of it is real estate, and that's the part we're on. I'm an accountant. So we had everyone in Chicago from all the different teams. We're at a Cubs game. We're at Wrigley, and I see our longtime beer guy, Moneymaker 39, walking up the aisle. And so I got to make a decision. I got to decide, do I hide my face and try not to show it, or do I get recognized and all hell's going to fucking break loose? So I decide, just be who you are. Just be who the fuck you are. Whatever happens, happens.
He's a loaf.
We see each other, big fucking hug. And he's like, I got everyone in this section, whatever you want. And then he's like, Beef, just text me when you need me again. And you worry about how it's going to go over. And it went over fucking great with the entire company. They love that you have a guy that we, on command, will come up here and fucking cover the section in beer. And so ever since then, we were at this Cubs outing recently, and someone was like, are you going to get recognized at this Cubs game here? I said, probably not, but maybe. You never know, because 108 people are fucking everywhere. So I said, if we were at a Sox game, people would be coming down to the section. They would be coming down to the section to come hang out with us. So
we saw some 108 people fucking in Oakland.
Cars.
So Sox supporter, for me, it's everywhere, baby. It's my whole life. It's my whole lifestyle.
You brought up Wrigley. Yeah. And opening day, I don't know, however many years ago, I went with my friend that you guys don't believe is a doctor. We went to opening day for and he had talked this guy into letting us sit next to him on in the aisle, or right where the concourse, before the first first row of seats, and then you have the concourse, and we're in the second. We're in the first row.
Okay, got it. Yep.
Richard keeps coming by, Moneymaker keeps coming by, and just dropping beers and not taking money.
No cost.
And the guy looks at me. He's a longtime season ticket holder. And goes, "Who the fuck are you?" And these guys are doing this, and I go, "Oh, I'm just a season ticket holder over there. You take care of him over there, so he's gonna take care of me over here." And he's like, "All right, well, because this is very odd behavior going on." It makes you feel so big, though. Because you're just like, yeah. No, I know the people that actually get shit done around here.
Well, even last night when we were coming in the game, after we went to the tailgate, me, Treasy, and Shane Reardon were walking up, we're getting beers and shit, and he goes to get in line, and we're like, oh, no, come over here, come to the side. And it's like, what, this is your guys' line? It's like, yeah, we just get this line right here, we're going to take care of it right away. It's like, hey, you might be on the radio, but we're here glad-handing this group all the time.
Well, we hang out with these
That's right. These are
I'm going to get in line like a regular-ass person. I don't even be so bougie like you guys. Fuck you.
We got more baseball to watch and more beer to drink.
Yeah, when there's 6 people in line, people say that.
I want to say
with 60 people in line, they don't.
They do not
Shane's
say that.
sitting in the way upper deck seats at the next concert he's at, not down on the floor, right in front of the stage.
Yeah.
Then I'll understand that he doesn't take advantage of the things that he has. I'll understand that.
Hell yes. All right, next question is from K-Fids. And a long time guy. K-Fid says, in honor of the new $60 million per episode Amazon show, if you were a Lord of the Rings character, who would you be?
Lord of the Rings?
Chorizo. If you were a Lord of the Rings character, who would you be?
I think I'm in the same boat as you.
Yeah.
I've never seen Lord of the Rings.
I'm not either. I have no idea. And last night you're like, B, put the question in there because I want to see if MSS is seen Lord of the
I have
Rings.
not seen Lord of the Rings, but I will say Frito because I know that Frito is one, and there's like Gollum. You're probably Gollum.
Is that the one that like is like precious?
That's Gollum.
That's
you're
me.
Gollum.
I got the same hair. I'll eventually have the same hair as Gollum.
What I want from you watching this show is go find that tweet. It's a reply to the Sunday Soap questions. A reply with what character you think we would be. Maybe
I like
us to
that.
watch it. You know?
Yeah. Let's do that because
I have no idea.
And I'd like Kate Fitz to tell us
Who he thinks we should be.
each of us
Yeah,
are, and then I'll go check out who that is.
Yeah.
Oh,
100%.
And I'm contemplating watching it because there's a new show that on Amazon Prime. I want to kind of check that out.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about going back and watching all of them.
Checking it out.
So maybe
Okay.
Kate Fitz, if I do that, I will tell you who all of us are. But they're all like 17 hours each, right? So like it's gonna take me a while.
Oh, yeah.
Well, one of the movies is just them walking the entire time from like. If my internet research is correct, that's what it is. People are just like, why do they just walk the whole fucking movie?
They're walking the earth like King of Kung Fu. I
That's
love
right.
it. All right, and last question we're going to close out today. No Billy Wires question.
What?
So
What a dick!
we're going to let the man from the 108 comments this week who killed us several times during the show. Brian S. is going to close out today's show. Bless you, Brian S. for this question. He says, you're walking down a dark alley one night and a group of street toughs appear. Who from White Sox Twitter are your four-man crew to help you combat these ruffians? So let's pick four people from Sox Twitter who help us, protect us. Go ahead, you pick number one first.
Number one,
Yep,
Shane Stagel.
100%.
I mean, first off, if Shane can't do it himself, he knows a guy that can get it done. So, like, Shane is my number one pick. He will kill somebody for us.
He's Nicky Santoro from Casino. And just fucking everybody.
You ever see that How I Met Your Mother episode where the guy, they go out in the back to fight and the one guy just blacks out from how like enraged he is and he beats up everyone by himself? That's Shane. That's Shane. So like Shane is definitely number
Shane's
one.
number one.
You ever, I mean, Shane's the type of guy, you ever look straight at a guy and it's like, I outweigh this guy about 100 pounds. I'm 8 inches taller than him. He will fucking kill me. That's how I feel whenever I talk to Shane.
Yeah.
This man will fucking kill me.
Yep, and then run a marathon.
Exactly.
Number two,
Okay.
Biggins.
Oh yeah.
Biggins, I mean like
Yeah.
what's the character's name in Snatcher and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels?
Oh,
The like the really tall.
Yeah,
He used to be like a soccer player.
Yeah.
Like he's just like a vicious looking dude. Like it's not even if Biggins could kick some ass. When that guy walks into a room, you're like, fuck this. I ain't fighting that guy.
That's right, exactly. He's got no interest in this.
He's got
shit.
hands like fucking like hammers. Like, and then I think you can go next, but I think there's an obvious guy in our section.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You say who the obvious guy is.
Oh, Bill Atwell.
100% Bill Atwell.
I would never hit that guy.
Man.
Like, that seems like throwing a punch at a guy that looks like Bill is the easy worst decision of your life.
Tracy, that's 100%. You throw your best shot. You hit him square, and all he does is laugh at you.
Yeah,
That's all. You start running. I hope you can outrun him.
like
that's
as
all
soon
it
as
is.
you put your hand together, you should know that you've made the worst decision.
I like that our median age of people we picked is over 47. I mean, we're inching to the old guys.
That's because they're the killers, man.
Yeah,
They've
yeah.
lasted the longest. Those are the ones.
The guys that we still respect.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. They made it, right?
They still look good after 700 fights.
Right?
Exactly right. All right, we gotta pick one more. We gotta pick one more.
So,
you didn't
I
pick
got
any
two
yet.
that I'm thinking, but who do you think?
No, I'm gonna let you guys go, man. I ain't got no one else. to
I'm
tip my
wondering. I'm so.
toe. I mean, Shane was an obvious one, and Bill was an obvious one for me too.
There's a longtime guy in our section that sits there. Though I think that if he got mad, and I think he does get mad, he gets really fired up, and that's our guy Jeff, and down in the front.
Oh, Jeff Bartlett.
Jeff Bartlett could probably fuck up somebody if he gets really, really pissed off because he is the nicest person.
Yes.
But I have a feeling if you set him off, like I feel like he would rip somebody's head off.
You feel like if someone
That's
gave
always
him the like point in the
The
chest,
chest?
Yeah.
then it would just be over for
And
that
you'd
person.
smack your hand away and then start punching with it. Then motherfucker
Someone
wears
on the
tank
chest,
tops.
you would threaten to throw them over a stairwell.
Exactly.
Guys that wear tank tops like almost year round are
Yeah.
people you need to fear, and Jeff is one of those guys. So you just need to do that. The other guy I was going to pick was Bruhan Luke, and it's not necessarily for his fighting ability.
Yeah.
It's that he's fast and he can run somewhere to go get help.
That's a good call. Run and get help in case we get killed here.
Go! Go, Lassie, go! I feel like he'd get into like if there was a fight fight, he would just get into like some kind of frenzy, and he would just be the dirtiest fighter.
Another
like,
thing,
he's just like,
yes.
that guy bit me.
Like, but if all else fails, he's at least quick enough and can go and get his help.
Incredible. That's it. That's our show. Let's go get this sweep. I'm not going to be there. I've given up on this team. I'm not going to be there. I can't make it. I'm going to a party. You boys carry it for the weekend. Everyone else is going to the game.
Unreal.
Oh, you got
Big key party.
So